Hey everyone, welcome to this tutorial. Today we are going to draw a coming home for Christmas VW beetle with a Christmas tree on top and like a snowy background in the background. So for this you'll need, I'm using a 12 by 12 inch canvas. It's a canvas board. You can have a proper canvas with a deep edge. It's fine, or even just use acrylic paper on its own. You can do smaller versions, so it's fine. You'll be needing black, white, whichever you've got, medium yellow, whichever you've got, but hopefully a medium yellow rather than a lemon yellow, ultramarine blue and scarlet red. So just use what you've got that's the closest. If you are buying my kits, you will get all the right colours in there, along with the full brush set, which is 2 flats, a large and a small, 2 rounds, a large and a small, and you'll also get an angle brush in there too. So they're the only brushes I will be using today. Just going to have a quick sip of tea. How you're doing? Just a bit of housekeeping. Please do subscribe, like, comment, share. It's really appreciated. I'm a small channel. There's lots of art channels out there. So anything you can do to help me is great. Okay. I purposely don't put any music on or anything in the background, so that you can choose your own and you're still able to listen to me. Don't forget to make sure you've got water, you've got an old rag to wipe your wet brushes off a little bit. I'm going to get one that doesn't have wet paint on it. There we go. I tend to put it on my lap, just I like it there. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all, we're going to start with the background. I think I do tend to, these aren't planned, I haven't done any practice before this, so please do realise that I'm making decisions as I go, but personally I feel as though that's the best way for you to learn. You can learn from my planning as I go and the mistakes that I make, or any happy things that seem to happen along the way. Right, we're going to make some grey. So for that we want a little bit of black, and we will need quite a lot of white. Black's a very potent colour compared to white, so you'll find that it overtakes quite easily. Now to do the sky, I think we're going to do kind of a very light grey coming down to a darker grey. It's going to be snowy. So when it's snowing, the sky tends to be grey, but it's kind of a nice grey, isn't it? It's bringing the snow. We love snow. So I'm making quite a lot because we will be using quite a lot there. I'm going to come across, just across the top here. I think I'm just going to spray my canvas. These canvas boards I use are quite dry, so I'm just popping a bit of water on there and it just helps the paint to flow. And I'm just using my brushes, popping them in water to help the flow of the paint. Now I'm going to just go straight into the white there, and so I'm going to start bringing the white on its own up into the top. We're going to be much paler up here. I'm going to get some more water, a lot more white, and we're going to start to just fill up the top. Don't worry if there's streaks of grey, that's actually really nice because it's making it look natural and kind of cloudy. So we're just going to come along and blend that sky down. Okay, so it should be lighter at the top, and then we'll keep coming down with our grey. I think I am going to keep mixing in a bit of white as we go, just to keep it nice and just very, very pale tint of grey. Because even though we're coming down into these darker parts here, we don't really want to be too dark. Right, I'm going to add some more white because it is darker than I'd like it to be. That's better. And I'm kind of just going to come around where I have drawn in the car. Now this will be available as a download for you to trace, so please do that. Just head to my website. All the details down below, but it's heartanddesign.org.uk. Okay, so don't worry too much about that being going straight across here, because we'll probably come in and put some kind of decoration in anyway. Okay, so we're just going to fill in round where this tree is. I don't want to go over my drawing because I want to be able to see roughly where I've been, but we don't have to be perfect about it because the tree is going to come over the edges anyway. There we go. Okay, and we're just going round, popping in some of that grey and some of that white. Get some water if it's not spreading well. It helps to push the paint into the canvas and it stops the paint from sticking. It's really important you have enough water, but try not to have too much so that the paint becomes runny, because we don't want it dribbling like watercolours. Okay, so we've got a nice kind of grey feel to our background and it's all blended in nice. So we have to think about the bottom. Now down here there is going to be quite a bit of snow, but we still need it to be grey underneath for the white of the snow to show up. So I'm just going to make some more of that grey, very, very pale. And we're just going to come in. Remember, you can go over the edges of the car. It's absolutely fine, because we can tidy it up when we come to do our car on the top. Now don't forget, we need in the window the background to be showing through. Okay, so make sure you've got that filled in with some grey. Okay, remember this is a big, oh, I must have caught some blue paint then. I definitely do not want that. Let's get that off the brush. Nearly ruined it. Okay, so let's get some of that grey going. I may be introducing other colours throughout once we get started, but if you're watching this, watch it all the way through first, so that you see if there's any other colours I add on, and then you can make sure you've got all the right colours before you get started. Right, so I'm kind of doing that grey, but mixing in kind of a thicker white, just trying to kind of get the feel of what the snow will have shadows underneath it. So I wonder if you can see better if I do that flat. Might be a bit better for you guys. Oh, there's green under there because I did a green painting yesterday. Right, some blue in there, but that's fine. Oops, got lots of blue up there. So here's what to do if you have an accident like that where you've dribbled some paint. Okay, I'm going to get some tissue paper. It seems to, some, you know, paper towel. For some reason it wasn't to hand. It normally is to hand. So we're going to just pull off as much as we can. Okay. Right. Then we're just going to let it dry and then we'll paint over it. Simple as that with acrylics. So it's the one thing I do really love about acrylics. I like watercolours a lot, but I do like the fact that with acrylics any mistakes can be easily taken away. Okay, I'm going to go over that a bit more, and then as it dries we can come back and make sure. Now one thing to do I always forget to do is make sure all the edges of the canvas are also painted, so just go back and check on that first layer. We'll be coming back and doing other layers, so don't worry. So hopefully you'll just have something like that. It's all grey in the background, doesn't look anything much, and that's fine because we're going to come in and finish off after. Okay, so what we need to do now is wash off our brushes. You can hear me splattering in the background, and we need to get a dryer. So you can use a hair dryer. I'm using a craft tool dryer, so that's fine. Whichever. Okay, so we're all dry. What we are going to do is quickly come in here, and I think we're going to have a bit of a moon in the sky. So we're just using a flat brush and coming round in like a circle shape. Okay, just needs to be as simple as that. I might make it a bit bigger, you know. Let's go for it. Just a bit bigger. And it doesn't matter if the edges aren't perfect and it's coming into the grey. We're giving that idea of kind of just faded out background. So that's absolutely fine. I'm feeling if it's proper dry. Not quite. But now we're going to come in and do the first layer of our car and tree. So I'm going to come just straight in with the red for the car. Yeah, so we'll come straight in. I think I've missed some grey there actually, because this here is grey. That's definitely grey there, because we're coming up to the back of the car. Right, so now we're going to come in and come back with our round shape of the front of the car. Okay, like that, because beetles are very rounded, aren't they? And then we're going to come in and repaint in the front of the beetle there. Now we're coming in straight with the red as it is, because we'll add the darker parts and the lighter parts as we go. Okay, so this is like our mid red. And then from there we can add different shades of red, lighter and darker. 1 second, I just need to pause. Okay, so we'll carry on. Sorry about that. And round we go. I'm just kind of going where I feel I want to go. Basically, with this medium, this being our mid-yellow colour, mid-yellow? Mid-red colour, we're going to have like a darker colour red, and we're going to have a lighter colour red. So we're coming in with what I call the mid range of colour. And let's think, where is that coming? So I'm going to go for about here, I think. It's just a case of, you'll have my reference photo to paint from, and here what I'm doing is I kind of have a few different pictures that I'm looking at to give me an idea of the overall feel. Now obviously the beetle's roof would go up around like that, yeah, but because we're going to have a tree on top, so we don't need to worry too much about that. Okay, put a bit of red in there, and then we're going to come up here, and I think I've come round too much on that front there, because the shape of the car is really, really important. Just going to put some more water on my brush. Coming along. And down. So yeah, it's quiet at the minute because all we're doing is filling in with our little round brush the areas of the car that need to be filled in with red. We're just basically building up slowly the shape of our car. Okay, that's it. And we need to come around here. Remember, it's only the first coat, the first layer, so we'll come in with detail after. We just need to get down that first kind of basic shape of the car. Once we've got that, we can start to come in and put the highlights in and put the darker areas in, and that will create the shape of the car. Now this is a beginner tutorial, so we will be putting some detail in, but it probably won't be too much. We're going to keep it so that it's a comfortable amount for you to do. Right, so that's the first layer done. Now we will need to dry that. Okay, I'm just going to come in with some of the grey and reshape the front because I had kind of bobbled it out a bit too much and it didn't look like a beetle car anymore. Okay, I'm just going to keep drying a little bit more. Right, so this bit here, I need to now come in with my slightly smaller flat, and we need to kind of blend it in to the rest of the picture because we came in afterwards, didn't we, to do that bit. So we'll do that now, and around here, just want to blend that in. Okay, make sure that's looking nice. Then where our wheels are, we just want to make sure it's totally grey, and we've got grey coming all the way up into where the wheels are coming from so that we don't leave anything for the last minute. Right, so now we're going to get some dark grey, and we're just going to create a light shape with the end of our brush for the front and the back. We're basically just kind of, this is the bumper actually on this one. Okay, so we can just pull that in. Oh, the light should be a bit further up here, so we'll just come in and create a little light there. Right, and we're leaving those quite dark grey for the time being because we'll come in and put the detail in afterwards. Now the tyres, we are going to come in with black. For this I'm going to use the angle brush, so get your angle brush out, and we are just going to go straight in with black. Okay, now there's kind of 3 layers to the wheels, so the outer part is black, and the inner part, I think that's going to be too big. We're going to use our small round. And the outer part, sorry, the outer part is all black, and the inner part is kind of all a couple of different greys. So when we've got kind of a base black around, we can then start coming in with the inner colours. But we need to dry that off first so that they don't mix in too much. Right, I'm mixing some of the ultramarine, some of the medium yellow to come up with a few different shades of green. First of all, I want a nice dark green to start with. So we need to make sure we mix enough of that. That's a nice dark green. And then we just need kind of to make a few variants of tint from that. And tint means to add white. So we can keep making the colour as we go along. If we don't have enough, it's fine. So I'm just going to pick up a bit of white, not much, and we're just going to make a little variation of that colour. Okay, so we've got a dark, this will be our mid green, and then we're going to have a much lighter green. Okay, so coming in with my round brush, we're going to come in and start to develop the tree a little bit. Now the trunk is about here, and then we're going to use our round brush to actually build up the shape of the tree. Okay, so it's all going to be coming in like this. Make sure there's enough water on your brush, otherwise the paint won't fill the canvas and it won't make nice shapes because you're missing half the canvas. Okay, there we go. So we're coming in and just putting in some tree-like shapes. Okay, they are all going to kind of lead to the middle, because imagine we've got that trunk going through the middle, and this is the small round brush. This one is a 2. It doesn't really matter, yeah, as long as it's a round brush, so that you can get these nice kind of tree-like shapes in. Now remember, we're doing the darker colours first. You don't have to cover the whole canvas of the tree area with it, because we will be coming in with other colours too. There we go. Right, so water, and just keep bringing those leaf-like shapes. Even though they're branches, you know, we have the effect of these are leaves. So keep coming in, make sure they're all coming to that point. We're using the point at the far end, and we're just kind of pulling the paint back over to here. Okay. There we go. Then we're coming into the middle. And we're coming in with this mid green and filling in some of those spaces. And it will be nice to have those different greens there. And we're trying to remember to be a bit haphazard about it. We don't want too much detail. I'm going to make a bit more of the dark green. It needs to be just the pure ultramarine and the yellow. And keep adding the ultramarine to darken it up without the green going to blue. And that is what will make it dark. Now what we need to do is get a nice point to the end of our round brush, and we can start to now kind of do some flicky shapes of that tree kind of coming out. It needs a longer point, doesn't it, for it to be a Christmas tree. So yeah, we'll start to bulk out the edges a bit and just kind of give the feeling that it's an actual Christmas tree with spiky bits on, because they're quite spiky, aren't they, Christmas trees? Let's face it, they are spiky. And I'm just coming back over the main part of the tree again, because we want to make sure most of that is filled in. Make sure some of the spiky bits are just randomly coming out. And some more here. We need them kind of coming back to the beginning of the trunk as well. Some sticking out. Doesn't matter if they're bigger bits. I'm going to make actually a slightly yellower version of that green, like a yellowy green. Rather than just lightening with the white, we can lighten it with the yellow, and it's a nice natural green colour then still, but it's lighter. So I'm going to come in, and it doesn't seem to want to show up that much. Don't know why. Maybe I just don't have enough on my brush. There we go. Okay. So we're just coming in again and making variations in the colour of the tree, because we want it to be as realistic as possible, don't we? Let's face it, yeah. And for that to happen, we need lots of different colours of green. because trees aren't just one blank colour of green, are they? They're mixed amount. You want to make sure that there's not too many gaps on the canvas. That's fine. So you do need to just do the trunk a minute. I'm going to use a little bit of a burnt sienna, tiny bit. Don't need much. And here I'm going to add a little bit of black, a bit more, then we'll brown it up. Don't know if you can see that. It's just becoming a nice brown tree trunk colour. So we're going to add that to the bottom here. Okay, at the moment it's quite dark, but we can put our lighter shade on top in a minute if we feel that's what we want to do. Okay. So we're going to come in with a lighter green, and we just need to bring in some more kind of lighter strokes coming all the way back to the tree. Okay. This is a beginner painting, remember, so there won't be perfect detail on this. It's just for a nice quick picture. It's still going to look great, but it's not going to be a realism or anything like that. I always say that on these because some people say, oh well, it could have been a bit more detail, a bit more real, but then it wouldn't be a beginner. It wouldn't have been a beginner painting then, because you know that comes in time. I'm just going to get some more of this dark green and just darken that bottom of the tree up a bit. And then I think we're pretty much there with the tree for now. We can come in and add some details afterwards. So, just going to find, where's my other round gone? There it is. Okay, so now what I want to do is come over the car and start to finish off on the car. Now, what I do want to do is come in with a round, go over the black and kind of make that inner shape as nice, as clear and even as I can with the white, kind of just tidying it up. Okay, and then we'll do the inside of that in like a grey, and that will give the impression of shine on the wheel. So we'll get to that. There we go. Let that dry, we'll come back to that. So now for doing something with this red, we're going to just pull out some red, a little bit of black, and we're going to make a dark red. Okay, can you see that? It's like a deep red. That will be for our shading. So make sure all the paint's off your brush. There we go. Make sure you've got enough water on your brush. And now we're just going to come in and do some kind of just bringing in some dark shades onto the car, which will create a bit of 3D-ness. So we're going to put some around the front as well. We will tidy up those windows eventually. We definitely need some shadow just under where the tree is, up the top there. Okay. We definitely need some shadow here, and then kind of coming round here and darkening up this area here. Okay, and then we'll come under the window, and then around here. And we'll just put some around the wheel. Literally just kind of giving it some depth now. We're going to put some across the top of the door, and then we're just going to blend it down a bit. Okay, and then same here. Get my brush, and we're just going to come in and darken under the windows a bit. There we go. It's already looking a lot better. It's already looking a lot more real. A real car will have shadows and depth to it. Okay, I think what I want to do also is come right around the wheel here as well and down. It's nice. And do the same here. Kind of just come around with that dark red. We're just creating shadow. There, it's starting to look a bit more real, isn't it? All of a sudden it just starts coming together when you start layering with the three colours. So we had the dark, medium, light green. We're now going to have the dark, medium, light red. I'm going to dry that and then we'll come in with some highlights. Okay, I'm going to come in with some highlights. So we're just almost making like a pinky colour. We're using the red and the white together. That will help to create the highlights. So I'm going to bring in a little bit here. Need some more water. There wasn't enough water on there. You won't be able to mix properly unless there's a good amount of water on there, otherwise the paint just becomes dry and sticky. I think it's a bit too light. No, it's too dark. Can't win. You want it to be lighter than the actual red, but you don't want to have it too pale just yet. We'll build up to that. Right, now you don't want very much on your brush because it is quite light, so you want to just build the lighter areas up. So I'm just going to put a bit there. It's a nice highlight. I'm just going to come in and put a bit here. Oops, didn't mean to flick that like that. Let's just get some red and pop that back in. Okay. Gonna just come in with a bit of highlight across the top because that's where the light will be shining. Okay. We definitely just want to come down here and just bring some highlights across here on the door. It helps to create the shape of that door. And the same, we want a bit on here. I mean, my brush is very dry. There's hardly any paint on it because like I said, the highlights can be quite strong and we don't want to ruin the picture. So now I'm going to come down the sides of the window a bit, under where it's dark. I'm going to come over here. Too much on my brush. I can see straight away when there's too much on my brush. We want to come next to the shadows because the shadows also create the light. We want to make it even with the right amount of light and dark. Okay, there we go. And let's just come across. Okay, now I'm going to come straight in with the white now. Here we go. And don't have too much on your brush, and we're going to draw in the line that comes, like, do it in little strokes because you want to get it right, and draw that. There's a line, isn't there, that comes over and across and down to about here. So you just want to pull that along. Keep putting paint on the very tip of your brush so that you can get that line in. Do it in small strokes. Do not try and do it in one go because you will make a mistake. You just will. And it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? But it's much easier in small steps, and then you can go over it again. Let's get some of that grey up as well. make it a bit grayer. There we go, because it's supposed to be silver. But that'll do. That'll do. That's all we need to do for that, really. I don't think I've quite got the shape right. Oh, that was my website. Right, I don't think I've quite got the right shape of the bonnet here. There's something not quite right. I don't know what it is, but does it need to come around a bit more like that? Maybe that was it. I don't want to ruin it because, but you know, sometimes you step back and you think, oh, that doesn't quite look right. What's wrong? I think maybe I've taken a bit too much away now. Ugh. You can look too closely at these things. Try not to do a me. Right, we're coming in again with the lighter red, the pinker red. I just really want to make sure the highlights are in there where I want them to be. Okay. Like I said, we can build those highlights up to be much lighter as we go along. I think I'm kind of happy with that. Okay, we're coming in to create that grey that is inside the wheels. So we just need to lighten that grey up. A bit lighter still, and a bit lighter still. Right, in the middle. And in the middle. Okay, that is what will give like the chromey effect of the wheels. Right, I'm going to use the small round brush again, and here we're going to come in with some of the white with a tiny little bit of grey, and we're just going to put kind of some form to those lights, make them look a bit more like they're lights. And same with the bumper, just put some highlights on around there so you can kind of see the bumper and it's glowing. It's a bit chromy. Okay, so now we need to tie it on. So let's use that darker brown. I'll have to make some more rocks dried out. And like we did before with the whites, we're going to use the point of the round brush and just make sure there's paint only on the point. And we're going to pull it down to show that the tree is tied on to the car. So we're going to have some string coming all the way around the middle. We're going to have some string coming all the way down here. And I am doing it in one go and it seems to be working okay. Remember, it won't be perfect. It's you're painting, you're not drawing with a pen. Just make sure you've got a nice point on the end of your brush and just make sure there's enough paint on there as well. Okay, and then what we'll do with this one, I think, is we'll make it tie on again here. Okay. Good, so it looks strapped in now, doesn't it? Now we can't see that because it's quite dark, but that's fine because we're then going to come in and lighten that brown up, put some little highlights. We're going to just lighten up the end of that trunk a bit. Don't think that's light enough actually, a bit lighter. Get some more water and make sure you've got enough paint on the tip of your brush. Gonna get some white and really lighten up the end of the trunk. There we go. Okay, so let's give that all a dry and then take a look and see what else we need to add, and then of course finish off the background. Okay, I'd say we are dry. So now we need to mix in a slightly darker grey. Okay, and this is going to be under the car. Okay, so you've got to be careful because we've pretty much done the car. We don't want to ruin it. This is also a point where if you feel like you want to tidy up the edges of the car a bit, that you can. Just glide along. Be careful coming around the painting here and getting into those little corners. Okay, so we're carrying on with this dark grey here because this is where we're going to paint snow. We just need it to be a bit darker than everywhere else. It's running out of dark grey here, and I put way too much black down there. Okay, whoops, there's a big lump of black on my brush. That's nice, that's much darker, that's what I wanted. Okay, so we're coming around and we're just darkening up the bit around the wheels and on the ground. Make sure your brush is nicely watered so the paint is flowing. Sometimes that's all you need, is just to add that water on. That's great. I'm just coming around the wheel, tidying that up, and up a little further. And then we want to make sure that we come up to here for kind of like where the land meets everywhere else. You don't need to go too high. Okay. Now with the background, we don't want to put too much in because we are just going to give the impression that there's lots of sky, there's lots of kind of trees and stuff in the background, but we're going to keep it, we need to get lots more white. I'm going to keep it very kind of blurred out in the background, so the grey will be a very light grey. So why don't we just build it up from here? Let's get some, we just kind of want to be putting in some greys and whites wherever we feel like putting them in, and just kind of milling it about. It's not really a painting term, but that's what I'm doing, just kind of putting some shapes in to show that there's something out here, and just kind of twirling it in. Does that make sense? So just using your round brush to kind of swirl it in. We don't need to know what's in the background. We just need to know that there is something there. Yeah, maybe it's trees, maybe it's mountains, who knows, but it's blurred. We are having a nice blurred background, and the reason for that is because our focus is the car. So we want some difference in the background, you know, we want to see that there's something there, but we really do not want it to be too strong and potent in colour. So yeah, I'm literally just going round in circles, wiggling my brush around and just getting some more water because it's starting to stick. And yeah, just creating these shapes which will give an idea that there is something in the background. It helps us to imagine something there. Whoever's looking at the picture is like, oh yes, there's something there, that's good, there is something in the background, and just build it up, just going round and just kind of putting that in like that. This bit here, I just abandoned it actually, didn't I? Don't know what I was doing there. Yeah, let's get that sorted, but we want to be making sure that it's kind of leading into the rest of the background, so it also needs to be kind of twirly and messy. Same here, making sure that it's feeling like there is something there in the background. We don't know what. Nearly put my brush in the cup of tea then. Oh dear. It's a well-known bad habit of artists. Okay. And if you're just starting out, you'll find that out very quickly. Bad habit. So we're just putting in some layers of grey. We can keep adding white as we go. And then in a minute we'll stop, because whatever it is in the background won't be going all the way up to the sky. It just won't. So we're just coming in and going over what's there with either the white or the grey, however we feel. It doesn't really matter. It's just about putting some kind of background in. Okay, smudging it all around like that. Nice and easy. Now for the snow. This is the fun bit. So we've already got the grey down, so we don't need to worry too much about adding any more grey, but we will be adding a little bit of light grey. Okay, so the problem with that is that the sky is actually quite light grey. Okay, and all I'm going to do is wiggle my brush around. This is what I do with snow, because it's pretty much haphazard, isn't it? So we're just gonna keep using that nice light grey, making sure it is a nice light grey. Mix up a lot of it because we're going to need it. Oop, there we go. And just wiggle your brush around. We want quite a bit here. We won't need too much under the car, will we? Because it won't have snowed there. But it's good to get this dark, this kind of mid grey in, ready for when we put the white on. When we put the white on, and we start dotting the white on the car as well, and on the tree, it'll look fab. Oops. I just wanted to put some more definition into the moon up there. It's looking a bit abandoned. So we'll mix in some grey and some white and just kind of give it that nice. That's it. And then we'll go in and put some more white on afterwards. Okay, so we're coming in with the lighter grey, slightly lighter grey. Keep adding white if it's not light enough, and then we are going to come in with just the white, which is lovely to do. It really brings it alive. It's kind of the last part of the whole painting, really. This is going to be for a class that will be actually in person locally to me, but I will also be creating a kit for it as well. It's quite good. It's something like the shape of the design of this you could use on a Christmas card or something, couldn't you? So it doesn't just have to be as a painting. Make it useful. Or what you could do is paint it and then do what I do. I photograph them and I sell them on greeting cards. So you could make cards to give away. Okay. Right, coming in with the white now. And we just really want to be using the very end of our round brush and building up some white on top of the car where we think the snow might have landed. Okay, definitely kind of around and on top here. We don't want too much because we want to keep some of that car showing through underneath. But just the idea that a bit of snow is on the car. Definitely some around here. Just dotting it round. I'm going to put some on the tree, I think. Shall we? Just put a bit on the tree. Bit of snow-like feeling on the tree. Sorry, my voice does go quiet sometimes when I'm concentrating. So, yeah. There we go. Cute. It's starting to look really cute now. Although I've got it all over the top there as though it's landed there, we do still need to make sure there's a few specks of it here and there around the rest of it, otherwise it won't look right. So we'll keep putting a lot there, maybe a bit on top of the trunk of the tree, and just dotting it around. That's it. We're just dotting it around. Definitely we need a bit of snow here and a bit of snow here. We need to work that snow all the way across, really, don't we? It will be gathering in the windows, and it'll probably be gathering down here where the footstep thing will be. So I'm going to put quite a bit there, and I'm going to come in and dot it as well. So we're just using the point. So I've done like a wiggle along, and then I'm just kind of dotting in a bit more there. I'm going to do a bit of grey down here, the very, very light grey underneath where it was settled on the ledge. I do a bit more here. Okay, I'm happy with that. I mean, basically you put as much snow on it as you want. You could go crazy. You can do whatever you want. I'm going to do like a nice big bit here on the front because I want to. Yep, you don't have to. Maybe put a bit here above where the light and the bumper is. And then we're going to come down to here, and of course this is where we come in with just the white and create snow at the bottom. But be careful not to spend, you don't need to spend hours doing this, you know, you can put some bigger blobs in and it's fine because everybody knows it's snow anyway. So we can have little piles of snow here. Let's do like quite a big one. And because we've got the dark underneath, it's really going to start to stand out. Okay, so here we go, more snow. Up around the tyres. Go. And a bit here. We definitely want the tyres to be sunken into the snow. So let's get that done. And we will have snow under and around the car as well, but it just won't be quite so predominant because it'll be all around instead, like this. Okay. So now I'm just splodging it in. We're going in all directions. Because we want to get it covered. We want that white to be down. We don't want to be spending hours on it. If it looks like snow, it looks like snow. It's fine. And it does. Oh, mustn't forget to come in and do some nice thick white on that grey as well. We could actually have like some streaks coming out from it as well. Should we make it like really spooky? There we go. It's almost as though there are clouds there. Love it. Great. There we go. Spooky. And the good thing about the background is you can imagine that to be whatever you want. This is, because it's a beginner, I didn't want it to be too long, but you could have tree shapes in the background if you wanted to. But I would keep them in the grey tone. I mean, I could come in and do that now. Let's go for like, so we could have like tree shapes. So I'm just doing a long line up there, but now I'm gonna kind of just get some more of that grey. And we're just gonna kind of create these. It can be going up quite high, can't it? Very, very faint kind of tree shapes. Like I said, we don't want to be attracting the eye to the background, but we can start to create some kind of feeling of trees back there by just putting some shapes in. I think it needs to be a bit darker than that, so yeah, just build it up to how you kind of want it to be. It just needs to be straight lines coming off a trunk like that, and it starts to feel like there's trees back there. So I'll do a few more. Told you that when I do these, I kind of do what I feel as I'm going along. So that's what I'm doing. So we want to kind of get to the point, and I'm going to have one like right here, and just coming down like that. We want to get some white in there as well. It's just the feeling of trees in the background. Yep. And then we can come down and do the same here and here. It's really blurred, so there's hardly any paint on my brush, and I'm just kind of building up the sense of a forest in the background. But we don't want to see too much here. We don't want any kind of detail around the bottom. It's just kind of what's up here. In a minute, we're just going to splatter paint everywhere anyway, and it's going to just be the sense of this car kind of coming home for Christmas. It's like a well-known picture, isn't it? The beetle car with a tree on. So just kind of making up my own background here. I think that bit there is a bit too dark, so let's just lighten it up a bit. There we go. But if you just do the brush strokes from that kind of direction and coming down, it will give the impression of trees anyway. But you kind of want it to be smudged out, you know, because it's kind of a blurred background like that. You want to just keep smudging it out and just give the impression of trees out there. Nice big wintry trees. And then come around the edges with your wet brush and just smudge it some more. Yeah, I think that looks a bit better now we've given the background a bit of form. Doesn't need to be anything perfect, just gives it some form, and I'm happy with that. Not too happy with this bit here. Let's get some. Just want to pale that bit out a little bit because I feel as though it was a bit too dominating. See, this is what you can always do with acrylics, is if something isn't quite how you like it, you can change it. Just go over the top. But make sure you're blending it in to kind of hide that. Not too sure about that moon back there. Let's get that whitened up. That's better. And it's okay that it's got those lines going through it because we're trying to create a sense of darkness and moodiness. Just have some lines coming off it like that. Almost as though they're clouds. Yep, so back to the snow down the bottom. We need to finish off this bit down here. And we're going to spray, just spray white paint everywhere to look like snow coming down. And I think that will be perfect then. We'll be done. I won't sing, but that driving home for Christmas song is stuck in my head right now. Again, I'm just kind of wriggling it in because we don't want to be perfect here. We also just don't want a blanket white bit of snow either. We need to kind of just make it a bit real. But you can here be a bit more kind of smudgy about it. You can just make bigger blocks of white. It's fine. If that's what you want to do, give some more there. Now I'm literally just doing dots of snow because I want to. Let's put some snow on the rope. Oops. There we go. That's nice. A bit of snow on the rope. Now in the sky, as I said, kind of need, I think it needs a little bit of shadowing and shaping around the edges. So I'm going to dry it all. Right, the moons, the acrylics do darken as you dry, so the moon's practically disappeared, so I know we need to come in and do that. Let's try that again. So I've got my brush, my large flat, and I'm just coming in and bringing that white back in. That's better. And then what we'll do is just bring the white out into the grey a bit, and that makes it a bit more like there's clouds around and the white is spreading out into the sky. It's nice. Okay, right, so I did want to just put some darkness around the edges, so I just all I want to do is get some slightly darker grey and kind of do this kind of framing of the picture. Okay, so we will be blending it into that lighter grey like so, but it just, can you see, it just kind of frames the picture a little bit. Okay, you don't need much on your brush. Make sure there is enough water though, and just bring it round like that. And then just add some white in to kind of bring it into the rest of the picture. Can you see how that's just kind of framed it a little bit? I do like that effect. There we go. Okay. And we'll do it again. Here. And try and just darken up this bit here without sort of ruining the effect of the moon there. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll get some more slightly lighter, and that will help to blend darker colour into the lighter colour. Can you see how that's worked? I like that as a bit of framing. Yeah, cute. I'm happy with that. You can sort of see there's trees in the background. It's nice and kind of framed now, although I might just go a little bit darker and blend that in around the edges just a little bit, because why not? Just a bit darker here and coming round. I feel it needed it. Yeah, just slightly darker grey just around the edges, down, and then we're pretty much done. All there's left to do is to give it a little squiggle I will use my small round brush and I will pop my signature down. You should always sign it, even if you're just learning or amateur. Always put your name to it, because and I don't even like that, like experienced or amateur, and just you're an artist and that's that. If you're using paint and brushes and anything art supplies wise, you are automatically an artist. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Oh no, we haven't finished yet. I nearly forgot. How could I nearly forget? We've got to splash on the snow. It's almost like the most important part, isn't it? Right. In. So we've got nice light grey, just watering it up a bit, and then we're going to do splatters. I'm just going to check on here. So we're doing light grey splatters. They're not really showing up greatly, so I think we're just going to go for completely white. Let's try that. Fun. This is the fun bit. Splatters everywhere. The harder you hit it, the bigger your splatters will be. Kind of change direction just so that you don't get your splatters just all coming from like one place. Need a bit more water. And you really do want the snow just kind of splattered everywhere. And then you can come back if you want to and push down and do bigger ones. Yeah, use your brush. I can't believe I nearly forgot the most fun bit of the whole painting. Paintings. To me, that's what art is about. If you're not making mesh, you're not having fun. Please do remember to subscribe. Give me a like. A thumbs up would be great. Say hello in the comments. I am a human. I am not a bot. Please do come say hi. I like to talk to people. I like to hear from you. In fact, I love to hear from you. And I certainly want to hear if you've done any of my paintings. More importantly, remember this is a beginner painting, so don't put any high expectations on yourself. No expectations whatsoever, just to enjoy what you're doing. My warning to you with the splattering is make sure there isn't anything around you that you don't want to get paint splatters on, like your mobile phone, which now has a nice snowy effect to it. But acrylics you can scrape off. Don't just wait till it's dried and then scrape off. Right, I'm coming in with lots of smaller splatters down the bottom because you will still have the smaller splatters even where the snow has settled. There we go. That was silly. Just put the brush down. And as I said, you can go straight in the white and just put some big dots of snow down. I haven't got much more out and I don't really want to put any more out because they just get wasted. It's okay to have those few big blobs of paint around and it just gives the effect of reality really. Sometimes snow is big blobs and sometimes it's tiny little specks. Yeah, let's get some here on the car. Happy. I hope you are happy with your version. Please do ask any questions, or if you have any recommendations as well, let me know. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.